Morning slash afternoon to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there. And welcome to the trifecta that is known as the Biconic Review of Honor, otherwise known as the
Oh,
Yes, yeah. So I still have the everything here for when we cover Ring of Honor on a weekly basis. And so we have dusted it off once again for the final ROH pay-per-view this year, which is Final Battle. And we have a lot to talk about. I'm super excited. Of course, my name is Mikey. I am El Jefe of BC WrestlePod. And joining me today is, of course, my friendo over on the AEW and sometimes the GCW and Mystery Wrestling and all that good stuff. Benny, aka Picnic Basket Jones, is in the house.
greetings, Mikey, and people of the internet. Let's rock and roll.
Heck yeah. So we're going to be getting into Final Battle really quickly. We are going to be focusing on the main card, but we will briefly touch upon the 0 hour matches and what we thought of 0 hour. And then we're going to get straight into everything that we got on the main Final Battle card. But before we do, go through these announcements really quick. If you like what you see here and you want to dig more into our archives, then you can go to our YouTube or the Twitch or the Kick and look up past streams, post show breakdowns, all sorts of good stuff. We do a lot here. But we also encourage you to follow us on your favorite social media site at BC WrestlePod, where we do our report cards and previews and predictions for all these wonderful things in wrestling. We have merchandise at bcwrestlepodshop.forceball.com. And last but certainly not least, if you want to help us keep the metaphorical lights on and help pay for some of these pay-per-views, the coffee bot will be jumping in the chat throughout this review, and you feel free but no pressure to donate to the cause. Alrighty. So with that out of the way, let's get into 0 hour first. So briefly touch upon it. So again, with 0 hour, love you, Tony Khan. It's like add like 18 matches before the show starts. But we had, so on 0 hour, we had the Outrunners versus the Premier Athletes, Layla Gray versus Zeta Steel, Ace Austin versus Lee Johnson, and the Death Riders versus GYV, otherwise known as Grizzled Young Veterans. For me personally, God, GYV is so good, man. Like I can sit here and talk about them all freaking day. That Death Riders GYV match was baller, and I really enjoyed Ace Austin with Lee Johnson. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say about 0 hours. Like it was fun.
Yeah, I'm also a very big fan of the GYV Death Riders match. I actually think it might have been better than the tag title match, but I digress. Was it Ace Austin and Lee Moriarty? I thought was an incredible match. But
Lee
otherwise,
Johnson, yeah, Ace and Lee Johnson were great.
oh yeah, Lee Johnson. I'm sorry.
There's too many Lees in ROH. Trust me, I have done that on multiple occasions too. I'm like, there's too many Lees.
Yeah, I'll just call him Big Shotty from now on.
So, I mean, 0 hour was fun, but once 0 hour ended and we got the intro bumper for Final Battle, they just decided to be like, we're just gonna start the night off. We're gonna like blam in your face because holy crap, Lord have mercy. So we kicked the Final Battle off, or the main card at least, with the ROH Women's Pure Championship Tournament Finals, where we were gonna crown a Women's Pure Champion. This is Deonna Purrazzo versus Billy Starks. And hot damn, what a way to open up the show. Holy hell, these two brought it.
Yeah, this match was fantastic. And Deonna was sort of playing with her food like halfway through this match. And all I'm going to say is that on the shows, the ROH shows, Deonna Purrazzo was about to be purely insufferable.
And I am so happy. I was like, Billy, we've been practicing because your swanton actually hit. And I know that sounds really petty of me to say, but the last couple of times she's been using it, I was like, it's been hit or miss, and it landed this time. But I love Billy to death, but I am super happy for Deonna because since being here in AEW, we both have been wondering, she was with Taya, and then, they didn't really go anywhere as a duo. And so then Deonna is in ROH. So I was wondering when we would do this, but now here we are. This match was amazing. I had a great time. Deonna Purrazzo is your inaugural Women's Pure Champion. And when she's cleared, we got to tease it what could possibly be the first feud for Deonna's championship reign. And I'm like, sign me up for Deonna versus Queen Not. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, but I will say one thing is that they did come out of this tournament with a lot of stuff set up for the show where they can still go back to Aminata as you said, and Deonna and Trish still have some bad blood. So they get some stuff coming out of it, which is nice.
And also selfishly, like Aminata and Trish be more on my screen. I'm never gonna be mad at that. They're for reals. But no, I need more Trish on my screen, Tony Khan. I don't know what's going on, but give me Trish Adora on screen all the time, please.
Yes.
Fantastic. So, okay, now that we got that out the way, but yeah, this was great. This was fun. And then I was like, okay, final battle. What we got next?
Oh man.
I think I settled this is probably my favorite match of the entire night. I'm not even gonna lie now. Like, I thought about it. I was just like, I think this is probably my favorite, but that's because I'm a sucker for I love good technical wrestling. I think the pure championships in ROH are probably some of my favorites because the rules are different, but you get a different style of match. But oh my God, this was amazing. And I did not mind. This was like 45 minutes. Because even though it says 30-minute Iron Man match, we get into it. We got into sudden death territory. We went like another 7 minutes. But I think this is
Yeah.
probably my favorite match of the entire card. I'm not even going front now.
Anytime there's like a time limit on the graphic, you can expect a sudden death or some sort of shenanigans thereof. Man, this was masterful. And this just goes to show you that, like, on the surface, technical wrestling is very one dimensional, right? Like, there's only one style of tactical wrestling. But, like, as we saw with Nigel and Zack Sabre Jr., and I love the fact that, like, Nigel was working over Lee's arm the
Mhm.
majority of this, like, for like 25 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Just
And
so
again,
he could, like,
I love
lure him into a sense, like, just so he could weaken that arm for the thing that he kept going back to, and then he realized that he can't go back to that after a while because Lee had a counter for everything. So, oh, man, the story was beautiful.
oh my goodness. And again, going back to that point too, I again from a in-ring psychology and storytelling perspective, I like it when wrestlers actually target weak points. I'm like, if this was a real fight, well, I mean, it is a real fight, but in real life, when you fight someone and you see that there's an injury, my mind is okay, that's a weak spot, so go for the weak spot. But we get into sudden death because after the 30 minutes and the last 2 minutes or so, we get quick pins and then Shane Taylor punching Nigel.
Oh, man, that was
That
great
was
timing, man. What
so gnarly, which allowed, like, at the 11th hour for Moriarty to pick up the 4th pinfall for him, and we end in a 4-4. Nigel gets out of the ring. He's going up the ramp, quote unquote, "The match is over." Shane Taylor, we're gonna talk about this too because I find it very interesting over the last month or 2 to see this dynamic change between Taya Style and, Shane Taylor. But Shane's all celebrating. He gives Moriarty the title. Moriarty gets on the mic and says, "Oh no." I was just like, "You challenge me to this match, we gonna have a definitive winner. Get your ass back in this ring." And so we get the approval that we are in sudden death. And for like 7 more minutes, they just go ham with the reversals. And then Lee Moriarty wins in sudden death. That freaking neck bridge, man. Oh my God, that was so beautiful to watch.
Yeah, the European clutch with the neck bridge, like, just popping in the neck right at the last second, like, what a beautiful ending, and, like, this reminds me, F that guy in the crowd. Nobody cares about your opinion, alright?
That was wild. I was like, Moxley on commentary. I was just like, you know what, Mox? I dig this.
Yeah, I love that he stayed out for the first 2 matches after doing the 0 hour with the Death Riders versus GYV, and Mox is just so funny. Like, there's one point in this match here where, like, Lee Moriarty hits Nigel with a Mongolian chop, and he's like, "Mongolian chop? My mother does that. They're not done in Mongolia."
There's such a dry humor to Mox's sense of like comedy, and I love it to death. And I love him and Danielson. They're like two opposite ends of the spectrum. Like Moxley is so chill, but his humor is dry. And then on the other spectrum, you have Bryanson, who's like yelling into the microphone and just, I don't, there's been clips that were circulated around in the last 48 hours of Danielson on Chris Van Vliet's podcast. And just like the way that Danielson is just doing this podcast, I was just like, you are such a weirdo, but you're my weirdo, Danielson. Brian, we love you. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, but
they're both different cats, that's for sure, you know?
But man, this match ruled. But what I find more interesting too is like we are seeing some dynamic shift because like Shane Taylor, was trying to beat up Nigel after this and was like getting in his face. And last month, Tiger Style over here was like, I need you to chill. Like, what are we doing? And like It's crazy, and so I'm like, I'm not saying that Tiger Style is I don't even think he's been a full heel, but now I feel like hit where he's at right now is kind of like not I mean,
Yeah.
he still
I
has his
like it.
cockiness to
I
it,
like the
but
direction.
yeah, I'm very interested to see where the direction goes and how it evolves come 2026. But yeah, this was my favorite match of the card, and that's saying something because there was pretty much almost every match on this card was amazing. Like, oh Lord, which one do I pick? But Lee Moriarty has defeated Nigel McGuinness twice and in an Iron Man match. Nigel giving Moriarty his pure championship belt to, from his era of ROH. I was like, also, crowd, you get points for, the chant of this is sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I had a great time after this. And so I was just like, I don't know what the rest of the order is going to go, but like, let's see if you continue to make me feel good. Final battle because I'm having a great time so far.
Yeah.
Icarus finally flew too close to the
Yeah, Red Velvet might have stirred up a downfall.
Okay, so let me set this up and then we'll talk about this because this match was also banging. Like, this is for the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship, TV Championship. Challenger Red Velvet wanting a rematch with or the champion Mercedes for the title that Red truly never lost to per se. And so now she got a match but now she got a rematch. This match was banging. I don't know what to say. This match ruled. And not to say that her previous in-ring work wasn't great, but this was such a big show out for Red. Like, holy crap. I was like, girl, you have not missed a step since coming back from injury. And I love everything that you're doing. She came from her mama's kitchen and she reclaimed this championship. And I was just like, Mercedes, girl, you also did your thing. This was great. I had a great time with this one.
Yeah, this one was hard hitting. Like they did a bunch of stuff on the second rope, and like every time it looked nasty. Like they really went for it. And Red Velvet, like I actually one up you right there. Like I think she's back to full form because
Mm.
like before the injury, before last, like she had just figured out the character, and then she like won the title, and like she was just focusing on the in ring stuff. But now we got both ingredients. Huh? See what I did there? That's right out of your mama's kitchen. But yeah, like unfortunately, like I didn't get to see the first one of these two because I had to catch a train. This match was fantastic, and putting Mercedes on third was pretty gutsy. So good for Red Velvet.
Yeah, so like I said, Red reclaims the championship. She might, and like you pointed out, Red might have stirred up the downfall of many belts Monet over here, which which is leading us into what's happening on Collision tonight. She is so frazzled and so angry. She's lashing out at everyone that she unintentionally gave Layla Gray a TBS championship match tonight on Collision, which I was like, I don't think Layla's gonna win, but we are gonna start to see Mercedes lose her shit more, and I'm kind of here for it from a
Yeah,
storytelling perspective. Like not like I think Mercedes is bad kind of way, but from a storytelling perspective, I think now's the time to slowly start going downward spiral because she's had 2 shots at the AEW Women's World Championship, and she never can get the big job done.
yeah, yeah. Like, well, she'll either start losing the belts or she'll overcompensate and get another 10.
It's
So
crazy for sure. But this match was awesome. This was hard hitting. Red is once again, your women's world TV champ. And looking forward to seeing where she goes. So this is fun.
mm,
Yeah. So final battle, 3 matches in. I was just like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I was like, surely nothing can be that bad. I want to clarify. This was great if it was on Honor Club and not a pay-per-view.
yeah.
And there is a bright spot though. Luis Martos is champion, so I cannot be mad at that. But I'm just like tired of ROH disrespecting Tommy Billington and Adam Priest. I was like, what are we doing? Why do they keep losing every time I see them?
Yeah, right? And it's like all the video packages leading into this, like even like on commentary when they were talking about this match, like it's like, Sammy and Mortos. And it's like, are they fighting each other for the belts? Or like who are you beating if you're not building up the other people? You're not beating anybody, you know? So
Yeah, and again, the match itself wasn't bad by any means necessary, but I'm just like, when I saw this, I was just like, I'm so mad. I was like, there's no way that LFI is losing these championships. I was just like, absolutely not. And I feel bad because I'm like, Tommy and Adam keep losing, and I don't wanna keep seeing them lose. Like, what do they need to do? It's like, is there something we don't know, Tony? Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah, what's going on with Jay Lethal, by the way? Because all this stuff is, like, wrapped up in Jay Lethal. I don't
this is getting
understand.
crazy. I was just like, I don't know what's happening. Again, the match itself was fine. I think Tommy Billington and Adam Priest are like, again, like I'm gonna throw them in the same way that I felt about Brody King and Bandito. At first, I was just like, this is a weird pairing. And the more I see them
Hmm,
together, it's like, okay, if you break them up, I might legit start crying. I'm like, no, because they're so good as a team. I love them. Especially Adam Priest, man. I was like, he's been in this business forever. And I'm just like, I've always been following him on the independents and I've loved his work.
yeah, I honestly just found him, like, maybe a year ago, like, earlier this year with, Jake something and Beast Mortos versus and, yeah, I mean, like, I'm a huge fan of this pairing because, like, when I saw Tommy Billington and Adam Priest separately, I was like, "They should put those 2 together." And then they did, I was like, "Oh, man."
This is just for me.
Yeah, this tag team is for me and Tony.
For real, man. Yeah, but again, the match itself was fine. There was some fun stuff.
Hmm,
LFI do it was weird how they worded it because it was for the vacant tag titles, but I'm like, but Sammy is still here, like, what? But anywho,
hmm,
LFI retained/regained the tag titles, and so now it is Sammy and Martos as tag team champions. I will say I feel like this is the division that kinda needs the most work in terms of getting, like, actual more established ROH tag teams because we are kinda struggling. I was like, because I mean, I
yeah,
thought the Outriders could be fun, but, who knows? They might still be because, they're running around with Dalton Castle across everything, so that might still be a possibility. I can take him or leave him, I don't really care about him, but, Preston and Griff, I'm like, I think they're great, but the concept of the frat house is really stupid. I was like, I hate it, but, I'm not the one booking these shows, and they get to appear and get squashed, so they still get paid, so I'm like, "Okay." But yeah, this tag match was fine. It wasn't bad, but I will say this is probably, like, my least favorite match, but that's saying something because it wasn't necessarily bad.
yeah, and a lot of hard-hitting stuff, but overall, this was a dud for me, but I like everybody involved.
Same
No,
here. I like everyone involved, but we need to restructure the ROH tag team division.
yeah,
We gotta figure
yeah.
some stuff out. But anyway,
Ever since the King lost those titles, like, this whole division has just been
it's really hard, and I miss Mike Bennett and Matt Taven on my screen. I don't know what's going on with them.
yeah.
I was like, I miss them dearly. I really, really do. But yeah, LFI are still champs. And so we shall see who ends up, being their next challengers. We will keep a watchful eye on it. And then we picked it right back up again. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was just like, I feel like this is kind of a throwaway match, but hey, two people I like, so it's gonna be decent. And then my expectations were blown out the water. I was like, this is not decent. This was
Oh, man, when I saw this graphic, I was like, "Huh, that's probably on the 0 hour, right?" And then,
not
like,
gonna lie. I initially thought it was on 0 hour until it got clarified that it was on the main card. I'm like, excuse me.
it was like, same thing, like, when Eddie's music hit, I was like, "It's on now?" Like, because, like, I missed a few minutes of the obviously, like, the first hour, and, I was like, "Wait, what? What's happening right now?" Then they came out, and, man, this match was friggin' awesome. Like, this was fully formed this was a Kings Road special, and it awesome.
This match was amazing and it ruled. And I'm just like, I love Eddie Kingston, but I was just like, I was wondering, I was like, I miss Josh Woods. Where he be? Where he at? Like, where is Josh Woods? I think he's great. And watching him in here, I was like, oh, there's a reason why I love you. I was like,
Uh,
oh Lord.
I've been singing his praises for a long time, and every time I do, like, he disappears for, like, 6 months, so, like, gotta keep my mouth shut this time. The last time we saw him was on the Action Dean show back in August, and or whatever, but, man, this was so much fun, like, this was the epitome of strong style right here. Fighting spirit, I apologize. Fighting spirit, because both of these guys were just going at it the entire time. Even that, like, the chaos theory suplex at the end, Josh looked like he just literally deadlifted Eddie and planted him. Oh, man, that was gruesome.
And so I'm just sitting
Seriously.
here. Yeah, so Eddie Kingston does pick up the win here. But yeah, this was great from both Eddie and Josh. And I'm not saying that he needs to be here, but let's put Eddie Kingston more on Ring of Honor from time to time too. Like I think he's great.
Oh, definitely.
So good. Anyways, we gotta move on though to our next match because
Oh, man, I said something to somebody last night, I was like, "These guys make it look flawless. Like, they make incredible things look effortless. Dante Martin makes some things just look absolutely effortless. And it's like
And to be I 'cause sometimes I've kind of poo-pooed on Skyfly because I was like, "I don't get to see them. Like, this is not fun for me." And then, when this match was made, I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be good because I like Top Flight, I like Scorpio Sky, like Shane Taylor promotions, they're always fun." I would like to thank and apologize to these 6 men because y'all did the damn thing. Like, this is fantastic. Oh my god, this is so much fun. And Shane Taylor Promotions, specifically, the infantry, I'm like, "You boys always crack me up. I love you so much."
yeah, Carly was just unhinged in this one. I love Carly Bravo. Like, the SCP, man, like, have really, like, found their niche, like, since coming together with Shane Taylor, like that what was it, a catchphrase like, "Run and hide, SCP's outside." I love them.
Yeah, we're far enough in, like, we're good. But yeah, this was a fantastic outing for Skyflight and for Shane Taylor Promotions. This was a lot of fun. STP do retain the 6-man tag team championships, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, "Okay, I'm sold. I'm ready for more Shane Taylor Promotions domination in the trios divisions."
Yeah.
Great stuff all around, like, this was just fun. I couldn't stop smiling throughout this whole match.
Yeah, seriously, like, it was like every second I was, like, laughing at something else, you know? Or, like, just enjoying something else. This was so much fun, and boy, Darius put on some size, man.
Hell yeah.
He's a beefy boy now.
So crazy, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, "You are fantastic. I love every single one of you. Y'all are great." So, by this point in the show, I'm sitting here and I was just like running through the list of everything that's left, and I'm just like, "Okay, we got 3 matches left. Let's see where we go next," right?
Oh, man.
So, while not for a ROH championship, this is the first title defense for the newly minted AEW National Championship. Ricochet defending the title against, one of my personal favorites, Dalton Castle, him and his boys and the Outrunners. It was great. I keep forgetting, like, oh boy, Ricochet just makes a really good, like annoying heel champion because it's just so much fun. Like, it's so much fun. And this match was a lot of fun too. Ricochet and Dalton Castle, this was great. I love y'all. I love you both. Did I think Dalton was gonna win? No, but I was still entertained.
There was so much in this, like, there was one point where, like, Ricochet hit, like, a stone cold elbow. Caprice didn't know what to call it, so he just said, like, "Oh, an old school elbow," because you can't say stone cold. There was one time where, like, Ricochet hits the Sasuke special and, like, lands on his feet and is instantly talking crap into the face of a fan. I can't wait for this Ricochet run. This is gonna be fantastic.
Oh man, I am so excited. I cannot wait. Holy crap. But
Oh
yeah.
my god. There was one point where, like, Dalton goes out with the boys and they start doing, like the cobras from Dodgeball, and they're running around the ring, like, trying to distract Ricochet. Man, this was such ridiculous fun and exactly what this show needed.
Oh,
And
100%.
Dalton, it was nice to see in full form as well.
I have missed Dalton so much, and I'm so yeah, 100% I agree with you, for real. Like, yeah, this is great and fantastic. So, and I was like, "Alright, 2 matches left."
Yeah.
You know what? I had no doubts this match was gonna be amazing and
Mm.
nuts and wild. Fucking Blake Christian in that mask, man, I'd laughed so hard. I was just like, "Oh my god," I was like, "This is so dumb. Where can I get one?"
You know he made that himself, right? Like,
Yeah, when I
yeah,
found
like,
out later, I was like, "I can't buy it, damn it." But this
no, I just felt, like, he seems like he would make that.
yeah, I was just like, "This is ridiculous," but this is the survival of the fittest match for the ROH World Championship. Bandito has to defend the title against 5 other folks, and in this iteration, it is Sammy Guevara, Commander, Edge, Blake Christian, and the Beast Mortos. Tony Khan is just like, "Alright, you 6 are in this match. I have nothing that you need to hit. Just go ham," and ham they did.
Good lord, there was so many great spots in this match,
Holy hell, I don't even know where to start.
like the Blake Christian, like, walking across the shoulders into a Canadian destroyer, like, I what? And I didn't realize it until we got everybody in the ring. that, like, Bandito and Commander are the only faces, so, like, they were up against it the entire
100%. I was just like, everybody else is a heel, so let's see how this goes. And of course, it was really cool to see Brody King, be in be here for Bandito's moment. Like this match ruled. Like I don't have enough adjectives to describe this match ruled.
right? And I also love the story that they're bringing up that Cerro had injured Bandito down in Arena, Mexico a couple months like, what, a month ago? And so, like, that story played into the finish, which was pretty neat. That's long-term storytelling, and it doesn't have to be 3 years long.
Oh my goodness, this was definitely a blast for sure. Through it all though, Bandito is your survival of the fittest, and he is still our ROH world champion. What a year Bandito has have. I have been so impressed with his run, both as ROH champion and our AEW tag champion. Like Bandito has been his run this year has been fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And also, this is not necessarily what makes me like Bandito even more, but the fact that he is just so genuine and humble and just such a nice person too. I was just like, there is nothing that I can find. I was like, literally, there's no hate for this man. Like, how can you hate Bandito?
Right, and apparently he's gorgeous underneath that mask, so, like,
Yes, which is also a small plus. Anywho, no, but I was just like, what a year Bandito has had, man. Like him and Takeshita both. Like if we're specifically talking AEW and ROH, I was like, what a year it's been for both of them, both in the company and outside the company too.
seriously, like, I honestly think that Bandito Takeshita match back at Final was it Supercard, yeah.
Yeah, super
Like,
card.
and that match, like, really set up the summer of Takeshita.
Mhm.
Like, that was a great way to start it off because right after that, he landed in the G1, you know? So,
Won that and then ended up winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Like, what a year. But yeah, Bandito is still our ROH World Champion, and he won in that AEW Dynasty too, which I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. He hasn't even gotten to a year as champion yet."
isn't it funny
So
how the ROH Men's World title can be on a pay-per-view, but not the
but
women's?
not the women's. We're gonna have words, Tony Antonio, we love you, but, like, we're gonna have words about that. Well, speaking of women's, though, because that was what main evented our show for Final Battle, the main event, the ROH Women's World Championship, Athena, the fallen goddess, the forever ROH Women's World Champion, and longest reigning champion of any of the divisions in ROH, both rebranded or, the old guard, taking on CMLL superstar Persephone and the girls, y'all get one of these, y'all did the damn thing. Holy hell.
Yeah, this was really fun. I'm gonna have to go back and I put it in my notes as the Battle of Mount Olympus, right? Because they're both named after Greek goddesses. But yeah, they took their time and they really built to the finish. And this crowd was behind them from the get. So kudos to them.
There were some really fun spots. That table spot where Persephone threw Athena like smack dab down on the table was wild. And this is just a weird wrestling fact that I found too. There's a lot of women wrestling in Australia. And I think a lot of the companies just in the last year alone are starting to realize how great Australian wrestlers, especially women's Australian wrestlers are. Because, and again, I'm not
Oh,
comparing
yeah.
companies, but like in the last couple of years, the Australian women have kind of been killing it in their respective promotions because Australia has given us the likes of Timeless Tony Storm, Mariah May, Rhea Ripley, and then even Zarya in NXT right now. She killing it right now. So I feel like the promotions weren't really clocking Australia too much, but I also feel like the men's division, specifically like Kyle Fletcher, and all of them have kind of be like, we should probably be taking a look at Australia more in terms of like wrestlers. But I'm like, Australia has always been kind of on and popping like that, though, to be quite honest.
Right.
Because like a couple years ago, it was the UK because everyone and their mother were trying to grab every single UK wrestler that they could. And so I feel like it just shifts too. Cause I think before that, there's like, oh, look at all these wrestlers coming out of Japan and then Mexico. It always ends up rotating in terms of like what's the hotbed for international wrestling right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you just have me who's just like, I watch everything, so I get to see everyone. It is an
Well,
interesting thing, though.
and you got like Shaza McKenzie, like who's an Australian talent. She's really good too.
Yeah. Let's more global superstars on our wrestling, please, because they are great. Like wrestling is fantastic around the world, and it needs to be showcased more often. Like this match in particular, Yeah, this was great. Athena does retain. She is still your forever champ. She did mention on the scrum that she is coming up on 3 years as champ, and I was just like,
Yeah.
this is my and I wouldn't even say this is a critique though, but this is a genuine question, Tony Khan. Where do we go here for Athena, and who is gonna be the one to actually take her down now? Like, we have ran through this division like 3 times already, I feel like, and none of the international girls can take it from her either. So, who do we have lined up to take it off of Athena?
Well, the problem is right now is that they have 9 women on under contract and 3 titles.
Yeah.
There's that.
ROH, I'm gonna tell you, like I said last night during our TNA review, I was just like, "You need to start locking these contracts down. You need to get more people in this company." Like, I'm not saying that ROH needs to be like an NXT developmental kind of thing, but, like, sign people and, like, have a specific location for Ring of Honor shows. Because I love getting to see Ring of Honor matches before Dynamite and Collision when I go to these tapings. But the crowd is either not there because it's beginning of the show, or they're all leaving because you're like they're all tired after being there for hours. So I'm like, give the ROH roster an actual like crowd that's gonna be behind them, and let's to make it also easier too for everyone, so everyone's not burnt out. Because I feel like the ROH roster deserves, a weekly basis in a crowd. Like when we had the residencies in like not this past summer, but no, this past summer and then, last summer too, summer of 2024, when we had the residencies for Collision in Texas, which also was residency for ROH. Those shows were great because there was a residency where we
Yeah.
had week in and week out, people were at these tapings. I'm like, do that then. Pick a sit, like go to different cities, find residencies, and like do like 2 or 3 weeks of tapings, and then there you go. Give some consistency to these folks because they deserve it.
Yeah, they really do. And what is it, like 3-minute squash matches to build to nothing is not something I wanna pay for, to be honest with you.
No.
So, but if I will say that, like, if there's any reason to get Honor Club, it is the library that they have. Like, they
Mhm.
have the best library of people who changed the industry throughout the years. Like, starting from, like, 2002 to 2025, you know? Well, that was 2019, whatever.
Oh, man. So, this is gonna be yeah, but this match ruled, and then Final Battle as a whole was fantastic. Man, what a show. This was great. Do I wish
Yeah,
that Ring of Honor had more pay-per-views? Kind of, but I am happy that with the 3 they get, they're always stellar. Like, this year, Supercard, Death Before Dishonor, Final Battle this year, all 3 shows were fantastic.
you know, the funny thing is, right, like, when Roos went down with the injury, that, like, sort of, like, rebuilt this entire card from everything we know, right? I'm a huge fan of Bandito when Roos, worked. They do
Mhm.
solid work, but dude, you gotta build to that. It's just a cold match with no build. Who's it helping? Who's it helping? That's all I'll say.
100%. But yeah, that's gonna be it for our Biconic Review of Honor review and the final, bro review of 2025. Whenever ROH decides to announce their next pay-per-view, we will be back to cover that. But we got one more thing coming up tomorrow evening, which is our WWE Survivor Series review. We're going to talk about the pay per view, talk about Raw, and then we're also going to prepare ourselves because this upcoming Saturday, we will be doing a live watch along for Saturday night's main event. And normally we don't do watch alongs for those because it's like glorified house shows with a TV budget. But we are doing this because it is seen as retirement match. So it truly is it's crazy that I am alive and a full grown adult to see John Cena retire for the world of professional wrestling. However you feel about the Fed, this is still a crazy moment. We're also going to see Hiroshi Tanahashi retire in January, and I'm just like, this is wild to watch all these retirements happen right now.
Yeah, changing
It's
of the guard, you know?
real. So I was just like, this is crazy that I get to be a witness to all this.
It's crazy that Tanahashi and John Cena are going out at the same year because
Mhm.
they're literally the 2 figures that represent each other and their respective companies. Like, everything I've always heard about Tanahashi before I watched Tanahashi, it was like he's the John Cena of New Japan, you know? So, to see them go out on the s in the same year, that's just you can't write that, man.
No, you cannot. And will I cry? Maybe. The jury will still be out on that one for both of those occasions, but we shall see. But that's going to be it for us here this morning/afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning into our final battle review from all of us here at BC WrestlePod to you. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will see you tomorrow for our Survivor Series review. But until then, say adios, and until next time, peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.